What up, bitches? Today I thought it would be fun to show you how I get my papillons ready for a dog show. I start by gathering my supplies: a towel, some shampoo and conditioner, and finally, a dirty papillon. Next, I turn on the water and adjust it to an appropriate temperature. This is the part where you ignore the fact that in the last shot, the water was already running. Once I get the temperature right, I take off his collar and check his chest hair for any matting, because even with daily brushing, it tends to have the occasional mat considering how thick it is. Then it's time to wet him down. Once I've soaked him down enough, I start to soap him up with shampoo. For normal baths, to just get bulk dirt off, I just use regular shampoo, really anything I have lying around the house, and then conditioner alongside of that. But when I'm doing a show bath, I use Chris Christensen white on white for his white spots and black on black for his black spots. After he's been soaped up, I quickly rinse the shampoo out and then use Chris Christensen's Spectrum 10 conditioner. And with conditioner, I feel that a little goes a long way, so I squirt a little into my hands and then massage it through his coat. Now, rinsing this stuff out is a real pain. It makes his coat super soft, and it's really difficult to tell if he's been completely rinsed or not. So the most of the time, I play it better safe than sorry and just over rinse him. Once I think he's completely rinsed, I pat him down with my hands to sort of spot check and see if there's any places I've missed. Now I towel dry him just to soak up as much water I can from his coat. This is also a great opportunity to check out any spots on him that I need to focus more on my grooming. So if there's any tangles or mats in his chest hair, or if I need to shape his paws. Then it's time to move on to the grooming table. Here I use a brushing spray, mousse, a pin brush, and my comb. I start with the brushing spray and try to layer it in there and massage it in, focusing on the parts of his coat that are the thickest. Then I spray some mousse into my hands and massage it into his tail and ears. I don't need to use a ton since it expands pretty well. Next, it's time to start to do a little preliminary brushing and try to get out any tangles or matting. The most time-consuming portion of bathing my dogs is blow drying. I keep the setting on high heat, but never keep the dryer on one place for too long and vary my thumb over the cool setting to make sure it doesn't get too hot for them. For this, I like to use my pin brush. I think it does a great job of separating the hair so it can dry faster. And Pippin hates having his head dried. We go through this like once every 2 to 3 weeks, at least, but he always acts like it's his first time. So after all that drying, he's usually still damp in a lot of places, mainly his legs and underbelly. For a conformation show, I would normally try and concentrate a little more on these areas before we left the house, and then just hope that it dried in the car. But I get a little lazy with him and let him air dry the rest of the way. So now I fluff him up a bit with my pin brush some more, just to try to get the tangles out that may form when he air dries. Once again, I switch to a line comb on his thicker areas. If I find a mat, I just take my thinning shears and trim it out. Normally on my show dogs, I trim downward with the grain of the hair, but with Pippin I was just cheating a bit and went upward against the grain. Then I work on trimming those hocks. I've I've seen some Papillons shown without trimmed hocks, but I personally love trimming hocks, so I do it on all my dogs. After I've got his hocks trimmed, I work on shaping his feet into hair-free as the breed standard specifies. I'd say I'm pretty decent at this, but I still have a ton of room for improvement. Like compared to what my breeder does, I suck. Also, this is not normally how you should shape a dog's feet. Pippin and I have been doing this every 2 weeks for the last 2 years, but he still hates it. I've found that this is the position he is most comfortable in, and if this lets me get the job done, then so be it. One thing I've started to do with Pippin since I've stopped showing him in conformation is trimming up his belly hair and the hair around his genitals. He gets super messy down there and it's just easier for me to maintain if I keep it shorter and cleaner. Then we get to the final step in the grooming process. I take a 10 blade and put it on my clippers and shave a little booty hole. And that's it. Now he's completely clean and groomed. Unfortunately, he will only stay this way for probably 3 days, but c'est la vie.